Greetings to anybody who is watching this video. It's finally time for me to talk about my main characters. Frick, I thought this day would never come. I only give pieces of lore in the form of sketches in the most nuanced, unexplained, or unserious way ever. And the only character you guys probably know is Agua. And if you watch my old videos, Mono. But it's time that I finally get to draw them in their proper form and explain their role in this story and as a person. But before we start, I would like to thank the people who commented and liked my art in my last video. You guys are so kind. It's amazing. Genuinely, I was hopping when I saw these responses. I would also like to apologize for my microphone quality. I'm just using a recording button provided by my device, but I'll try better in this video. But thank you guys so much. So much. I hope you guys are blessed. I also want to apologize for not posting for a while. I was in another country to spend time with my family, as well as taking the time to draw these characters. The art is not quite good, but I put in all of the efforts that I could in order to make the video this August and at the end of summer break. I don't want to post something that does not have to do with my project or my art. I hope that clears things up. And now to start showing off my lovelies. Let me introduce the startup of this story, ICCC. You probably already know the synopsis of the tale from my last video or my channel's description. I recommend checking it out, but I will paraphrase greatly just for this story's intro. This is a selfish story about friends, love, and hatred. This is not a story where the characters are remembered by the whole world for triumphant deeds, but solely on the cast themselves, their interactions, and their journey. Agua is a very, very lost individual. He already lost his past and his memories. Not too much of a problem since he still has a home, but now he lost his home too. Upon waking up, there's bloodshed everywhere, death emitting from his people. Not a single person awake. The community he knew, gone. And how come? It's not like he would know. So, who does Agua go back to? Where does a person go when they don't have anyone to return to, let alone losing the very past memories that could have helped you? And so he lived alone, surrounded by rot, too sunken in his thoughts and feelings to even prepare a proper burial to every individual he lost, continuing as usual as if attempting to bring back the normal days. And we're going to stop there into the next character. That was a tragic beginning, but don't worry, he doesn't stay forever like that. And there's also a reason behind the incident, but that is as far as I can tell you for now. Now to explain Agua's design. Agua's clothes are very, very much based on Philippines culture, specifically the older eras. I did specify once that he is a Visayan. I'm not quite sure, but right now, I'd say he is. I do want to specify that a ton of things are fictional in my project, so elements are most likely exaggerated or are left to interpretation. For a person who doesn't wear much cloth, the fabric design does stand out. In truth, Agua is a slave, along with his adoptive family. Some slaves dress plainly, and some others a little more lavishly. Agua is someone like that. His bahag is blue or teal, whatever you guys call it, along with mint-colored stripes at 2 different lengths, designed by one of Agua's relatives, although he got it teared a little at the tips. Agua's eye patch, or an improper pudong, is a birthday gift from his family, the date of when he first arrived at his current home place. The eye patch is made and spent with love. Agua does have a strange birthmark. As you can see, His left eye is covered with little cars peeking out. His mark was not quite welcomed when he was growing up. So often he was bullied. But the main reason he wears his eye patch is because he doesn't want to give off bad impressions, and to also cherish the memory of his family. Agua carries a long, sharpened branch. Usually he uses it for hunting, but after the large incident, he keeps it to himself permanently. To explain Agua's relationship to the sea, he very, very much connects to himself, to the ocean, a quiet man who finds sense and comfort in its form, the sound, the scent. He appreciates the waters for all it is, sometimes referring to himself as the sea when he doesn't want to express his emotion out of shyness or embarrassment. Not only that, but allegedly, he came from the sea when he was a newborn. As you may tell from my illustrations of Agua, he can manipulate water, a power he always has wielded, but never learns how to use it nor why he has it. And as ICCC progresses, Agua grows not only with his power, but also as a person. And that's all I had to say about him. I do have more information, but I can't reveal too much until I'm sure that's what I want for him and the story. Agua's design really sticks with me. Although it's tedious drawing the details, I'm very much satisfied with what I have made. Let's resume the story for a bit, shall we? Too consumed by hopelessness, Agua almost renders inactive, yearning to disappear like his family did, too scared to touch the bodies, too scared to call for help to the outside groups. But due to his agonizing thoughts of wanting to know the cause of the slaughter and his will to live, he cannot bring to end himself. After a few days since the incident, something happened around midnight. The moon looks off. It's the time when the phase of the new moon appears, but that's not the only thing Agua observed. He spots another moon, smaller and is it moving? Well, pinch Agua, because there's a second moon that's moving towards him at an incredible speed. Agua, baffled by the shocking entrance of a strange being, the little moon introduces itself as Mono, and Mono is here to help Agua, in exchange that he will help Mono too. Mono informs Agua that there are higher entities that hold great power. The moon is one of them. However, now that they are weakened, Mono needs to collect fragments of itself and others to regain their full powers. And Mono trusts that Agua can aid because he also has some fragments within him, and Mono cannot leave him alone because of that. Of course, confused and afraid by the sudden command and company, Agua spirals down. It's such a hard decision. To leave your only home behind in order to carry huge responsibilities, to be bothered because apparently his existence is involved. Declining the moon's request will only make things harder. Agua says nothing. He walked away. He didn't know what to do with himself, let alone to take care of grand beings that he had no knowledge of. But it was alright. It was okay for Mono, because there was another reason why it was there. After some time alone and finally coming out of his shelter, Agua finds out that Mono has been taking care of the deceased, for the moon also wishes that the loved ones may receive a resting place as well as be remembered. And so, Agua helped. They both stored everyone's bones in jars, cleaned up the place, and spent a few moments together, unintentionally. It was at that moment that Agua wanted to not look back with regrets, guilt, and sorrows, but to look forward to the present and to help Mono for its kindness. Okay, that was a lot more lengthy than I expected, but it's okay. I will now explain the creation of Mono's design. And it's so simple. I love it. Literally the least detailed character in the main cast. Mono quite literally resembles the moon, with the colors and patterns being tweaked into a simpler style. It has a white star spot on the left and can be seen as an eye. The same goes for the black spot that's surrounded by a dark ring on the right. Mono's body also corresponds to the moon's phases in an odd manner that isn't quite logical, as well as their abilities to form matter and objects within itself. But Mono also has limits due to being weakened. It's not like it can create anything right now. Mono is also capable of having specific feelings of which their anatomy changes corresponding to it. Examples such as blotch, bull, and elan. Now, the moon does have a humanoid form, but until I'm really sure about how my story is going, I won't be creating it until the time comes. But I can tell you that I did post about it, on my TikTok of course, but it's an old design. And to give more information, Mono is more quieter than Agua, but more mature and calculated too. And despite that, they have empathy like that of a human, only because Mono loves observing lives, as it is an interest that it has kept for eons. But if there's something that Mono loves more, it's the sea. Oh, a quick reminder, Mono uses it, its, and she, her pronouns. I've been using the it pronouns so I can get used to it, and to not confuse you guys when I switch up the pronouns. So most likely in my next video, I'll probably be using feminine terms for Mono. Alright, let's continue the story. Agua and Mono, sailing on the seas to witness a vast world that Agua has not ever seen yet. He's determined to at least do something in his life, rather than sulking and avoiding. Although he is afraid. He lost a lot of people, he meets a powerful figure, then there's fragments within him that caused him to be involved in a big mission, venturing outside of his country into the unknowns, even if it threatens him. It's all happening a bit too on point, like it was meant to be. But even so, according to Mono, Agua cannot extract the traces that's inside of himself. As long as Agua lives, the fragment also lives, and his fragment is needed, meaning Agua needs to be not only be alive, but be whole as well. So really, even if he stays at the island, he will be revisited again and be forced to involve himself in the process. Although he doesn't know what this process is, he's reassured that he will keep his usual life once the requirements are achieved. So, it should be good. Until soon after they exit for miles and miles, Agua and Mono encounter another boat, two people bickering. Like an insanely visceral argument. Their boat is rocking side to side. And then Agua and Mono were approached by the angry pair, a rusted armor knight with an intimidating stature and torn clothes, and a weird-looking human man who seems very flexible and too bright. The knight asks for directions to look for an infamous pirate crew, the strange man who puts his arms around the knight and boisterously asks to find somewhere entertaining and to get away from the knight. With that, the knight, who's annoyed, swings at the insufferable man who continues to laugh. What an odd duo. Of course, Agua, being the type who cannot ignore help, he gestures to Mono that they should lend a hand. After all, aren't they all traveling around the world for one reason or another? When the knight and the silly man joined aboard, they were a bit awkward and were a little shocked at the presence of a floating white ball and a man who can control water. But it only entices the both of them: the smell of adventure. At least these two had something in common. And so, the diverse people band together to achieve their destinations and their goals. Ooh, and that's the end of ICCC's intro. How did you guys like it? Did I cook? No? It's okay. I swear it would get better once I improve my rewrite and make the comic chapters. And I know there is a little confusion. What about the language barrier? That will be explained in another video. And everything else? I'll do my best to flesh it out in the final product. So please be patient with me. Other than that, let's show off the remaining two characters. Naname. Naname. Did you guys get it? Naname, no name. It's a play word because Naname didn't have a name. Her current name was given by her captain. And if you caught on, Naname is a lady. The infamous pirate crew that was mentioned earlier is actually hers. Although she's in a lower rank, she loves the people who took her in, for she would do anything to protect them. She was lost on a boat because she was on a mission for treasuries. A mission that failed horribly due to unforeseen forces. I'm gonna tell you guys this, drawing Naname was hell. Oh my goodness. The maximalist within me did not want to hold back on her design, but I'm so flippin' glad that I settled on the current design. It would be torture if I were to draw more metal and more fabric. Except I have to, because the characters in this story will have different clothes. It's okay. I can do this. Besides, I would like to say that Naname's design and silhouette reflects her background. Her silhouette is meant to look like a stiff fish. Her helmet resembles a fish's mouth and a fin, and her skirt and feet positions are also meant to look like fins, which is why Naname's posture is quite straight, with no reactive body language because of her reserved demeanor. Her armor is rusted. She picked it up when she was still alone and needed to protect herself. And the torn clothes are signs of her efforts in battle. The bandana on her helmet is given by her crew, to show that she's a part of it. And her face revealed, golly, do I feel insanely happy that I finally settled on a design for her. Naname has blue scales that shine almost like stones, and she has 2 gills on her neck. The remaining third is on her ribcage. There's 3 subtly carved lines on her armor so that her gills can breathe. Of course, she also has lungs for land, so that's 2 different types of respiratory systems. The hair on her head are actually her fins. They have the ability to mimic as usual hair locks, though it's not perfect. Naname has a huge scar on her right side of the face, causing her to lose eyesight for her right eye, and putting herself in more personal and threatening danger. But she still hasn't lost her skill yet. It just takes more effort. As you may tell, Naname has what I call inconsistent scale variety, where not all of her scales look the same. Sometimes they change colors and form randomly. She cannot control this. The reason why her body is like this? For my artistic aesthetic. Duh. But these scales are acknowledged in the story, so look forward to that. Naname is a humanoid fish. A hybrid, really. She keeps her identity hidden, for it will bring forth great dangers from her past and from her birthplace. This is why she wears a helmet most of the time, as well as wearing clothes that can cover her whole body. Naname's clothes are based on the Illyrians. Although I'm quite sure this fact is not too important in the story, it provides an explanation of her clothing design. Despite how I'm afraid to draw her, I love her so much, so I don't mind burdening my future self. And here comes this silly guy. Lin is obviously not like other people. I mean, look at him. He's a little different. Well, I tried to make him different. The art style gets more bouncing in his expression sheets, but that's for another video. He is very, very much Vietnamese. Lin was a soldier. You can tell by his boots and one of his hats. Really, the boots aren't his only good pairs, so he loves wearing them. Even after leaving his country, he still kept his uniform. Lin wears plain clothes over himself and a stolen purple garment because it's his favorite color. He has his own basket filled with random thingamabobs, though some items are recognizable, like a scroll or an instrument. Lin is very expressive, and I tend to incorporate that trait in his appearance in the future. He's bright and optimistic, even in desperate situations. The only direction this guy ever looks at is up, and so far, Lin is the only one who could annoy Naname. The reason why Lin was on the lost boat with Naname is, mayhaps, he is one of the unforeseen forces. Let's say he had his eyes on one of the treasures as well. His nonsensical anatomy makes a lot of things more easily avoidable and fun, often saving Lin from heavy injuries and rendering him more quick and flexible in a lot of circumstances and events. Heck, because of him, his basket storage is endless. Lin's connection to the waters is more of an emotional way. Unlike Agua, Mono, or Naname, where they're connected to the sea literally and metaphorically, Lin's inner feelings are more veiled than both he and others know. And I'm finished! I have settled on the designs for my main characters. I developed a basic story for each, and I can't wait to write about their personal selves and their relationship with each other. I know these illustrations aren't perfect for anyone who wants to draw fan art due to a lack of a turnaround body shade. However, these illustrations mainly serve me as a reference for future art. I'm sorry to disappoint, but this is what I'm able to conjure up before summer break ends, of which I'm still proud of it. I'm thankful that I gave my creations an identity, something that I've always procrastinated on, so I don't regret anything. And about the story of ICCC, there may be rewrites either for the intro or the characters themselves. Keep in mind that I have not fully settled everything. Not only that, but because of my lack of experience, I will be postponing the creation of the comic and start making one-shots instead. I need to develop my writing skills as well as my art. I don't know if you guys could tell, but I rarely draw metal, so it's not as good compared to the other artists' efforts. So with this, I will be taking a break from my project. I'm sorry, I know I only posted 2 videos about it, but golly, they're making these sheets drain me. I didn't think I could tire myself like that. And to prevent my loss of interest in art, I must take a break until September. Not only that, but my friends also requested me to draw for them too. That's like the second project that I'm involved in. But I need to remind myself that it's okay to not post for a while. As long as I continue to make art, it's all okay. I hope this is all understandable. I'm so sorry for the loose ends of this video. I'll try to be better. But this is all I have, and it's better than to have nothing. Thank you thank you to anyone who watches this video or made this far. This video took way too long, and I'm sorry it took me until mid-August to share my art. But I'm so gracious to anyone who views my drawings, and so I hope you guys are blessed. Good night and good day, everyone.